Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 224 of the On Air Advocate, where at the On Air Advocate, we look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I am the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I'm super excited if you are here this afternoon joining us, or whether you are catching this on the replay. Now, as always, if you think any of the content that we are talking about today could be relevant for anyone in your network or your circle, please hit the share button on whatever social media platform you're watching this on and share the love with others. Well, if you guys have been in tune with us all month long here at the On Air Advocate, you know that August is always our resource series. And I am excited today to bring to you guys a brand new resource that I have come in contact with, and excited to have Evan Schermer here. He is the founder and president of the Seed Center, and we're going to learn all about them today. So I want to welcome Evan to the show. Hello.
Hi, Tammy. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and for all that you do in the community.
Yes, thank you. And I'm excited to hear more details, because obviously I've kind of seen the overview of the Seed Center, but can't wait till we get into some more details about all the different services that you guys provide. But I know that, Evan, you haven't been here on the show before. And so I would love for you to just give the audience a little bit about your background and how the Seed Center started.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am a certified school psychologist. I've been in the field now for over 20 years. I started out in public schools like a lot of school psychologists do, and loved it my first year. My second year was okay, but my third year, I realized it wasn't for me, and felt like it could really make a difference and help a lot more people by leaving the confounds and the restrictions, I guess, that a public school has. I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to start private schools for individuals with autism. And I learned a lot about autism. I learned a lot about the business of autism and how to manage that end as well. And was very successful. And the students at the time, primarily high functioning autism, and was amazing to be able to meet that need. And ultimately, a parent who lives in Stanford, actually on your show, Robin Portnova, amazing woman, the president of Stanford Education for Autism, contacted me and said, "Wow, you're doing such an incredible job out there with the private schools. How can we do some of that here in Stanford, Connecticut?" And somehow she got me to Stanford from Long Island and made that journey. And she is amazing and contagious. And very quickly, I realized that I needed to open a center to meet the need and to fill the void, because families had very few places to go to. And if they were receiving any services, then it was very limited or it was disconnected. So here we are. We opened in 2010, and we provide services here at the center. We also provide services in the home, in the community. We do school consulting, and just has been quite a journey, and really committed to making a positive impact with the families and clients that we work with.
Now, so 2010, so you guys are on your 10th anniversary.
Yes, we are. Yeah, very excited about that.
Of the Seed Center. So when you guys first started, because when I was looking on your site, you guys offer multiple different services, and I know that you serve the autism community. Do you also, I kind of got the impression you also serve those with different abilities or unique abilities as well outside of the autism spectrum?
Yeah, I mean, we live in a world with labels, unfortunately, and because autism doesn't describe much, right? It's really just a label. So really, the way that funding works is for those that do have an autism label, they are able to potentially get funding through their insurance company. With that said, we are certainly open to all individuals, regardless of a label. It's really about the areas that we could work on, and there's a lot of different things that we can help in. Will ultimately develop independent living skills to be a functioning, contributing member of society and working up to that person's potential. So again, most of our population does have some form of autism. As we know, it's very diverse, and as wide ranging, but we do have families that and clients that have other social difficulties or behavioral difficulties and need support as well.
Okay. And when you guys first opened 10 years ago, did you open with the multiple services that you guys have? So for the full 10 years, have you guys had all of these, or where did you guys start at that very beginning point? And what have you found that there's such a great need for that you added on those extra layers?
So it's a great question, because we are different now, 10 years later, than we were when we first opened. So I guess the vision when we did initially open was to have a more of a comprehensive team with different disciplines working together. So there was no disconnect. Every department was working together, and there was synergy there. But we learned pretty quickly after the years that despite the value of, let's say, speech and language pathology and occupational therapy, really the essence of what we were about was ABA therapy, applied behavior analysis, and that's ultimately the most effective therapy and treatment for individuals with autism recommended by the Surgeon General. And so families were able to access speech and occupational therapy, let's say elsewhere, but really the quality of ABA and the intensive ABA that we provide was not available. So we really, at this point, we don't offer, let's say, speech and occupational therapy. We do offer more comprehensive ABA services. So we do offer, let's say, social skills groups. We offer parent training, and we offer intensive ABA therapy, which really can range anywhere from 10 to 40 hours a week, depending on the level of need. So it's different than almost anything out there in the sense that it's very intensive. And that's what it needs to be in order to be effective. And it allows there to be an impact and us to make a real difference. So that's kind of where we are at today. We know our core, we do it better than everyone, and we're proud of that. So it took a while to get to where we are, but we know, what we do well.
Now, I did see that you guys also do some job skills. So do you work on the job skills? Do you do job placement? Do you work with, I don't know in Sanford, Connecticut, like the different Department of Vocational Rehabilitation. That's what we have here in Wisconsin, but I know that there's different job entities, that are also supportive for that. What piece of the puzzle do you guys work on?
Yeah, I mean, we are committed to working with the individual across a lifespan, which I think is unique to us as well. So, it doesn't just stop at 18 or 21 when they're done with school. We live most of our lives as adults, and we know that that's where the services really need to be. So as our clients grow and get older, we evolve as well. I have experience with adults with autism, and certainly have done a lot of work over the last 10 years doing life skills training, doing job skills and vocational training. So that could be anything from developing prerequisite skills necessary to handle a job and be successful on a job, as well as support on a job site, more like a job coach, where they might learn the specifics and the skills necessary to be successful with that job, So we really focus on both things. We do have the opportunity to take our clients out in the community, where we could go to a grocery store or a bank, and things like that to, again, work on skills so they can be successful and be as independent as possible. So it's an important aspect of what we do, especially as our clients get older and think about what's going to happen after school.
Right. And there is such a huge drop off when young adults leave the formal school system, and the opportunities and whatnot that are available. And that's across the United States. It's such people don't realize the drastic drop off for that. But you guys start at what age can you start doing service? Is that at the age of 1, at the age of 3? And there is no age that is your maximum age?
Right. So, it's really once an individual usually becomes diagnosed, which could be 6 months to a year, somewhere in that range. So we do work with families as young as, a year old, 6 months. And we've had clients as old as 79, 80, and everywhere in between. Everything we do is individualized, and that's really important. So it's customized based upon what that person's needs are. And then we develop a treatment plan, which will identify the areas that therapy is going to address. And those are the things that we're going to work on, regardless of your age or your label, and really about what your individual needs are.
Okay. And with everything going on with COVID, I know we didn't chat about this before, but it just came to mind. With COVID, how have you guys pivoted during this time? I mean, obviously, everything with COVID kind of started in March, and now we're already almost
Right.
back to school time, middle of August. How have you guys done that?
Yeah. So it's been, quite a journey for us. And like everyone else, we've had to adjust and had to come together as a team. And fortunately, I have an amazing team, and my staff are incredible. And my families that we work with have been equally as resilient. And certainly our clients and learners are resilient. So we ultimately are essential workers, in the fact that our clients are approved for services due to a medical necessity. So we were able to continue to see clients. Not everyone. A lot of families, obviously, were either quarantined or preferred, not to have contact. But those that did want to continue, we were able to provide services, which was wonderful. And the families are super thankful that we were able to, not have any kind of separation or break in services. Now we're getting, interesting enough, now that people are thinking about school and, September's around the corner, families are starting to think about that. And especially the families that we work with who might have a medical issue, let's say, right, and have concerns about going back and keeping their child safe. They're looking to us as an option, where we have 8 therapy rooms, all designed for individuals with autism, and the technology and the support and everything that would be necessary to be successful. And they're saying, can we, rather than go to school, can we get services here, at the center? So that's something that we've always done. We've always provided ABA therapy during the day, but we really haven't done it as often as we're looking to probably do it in the fall in this coming school year, on a regular basis, every day. And what's nice is that we have complete control. We're able to clean the environment, sanitize it. We're able to check everyone's temperature. It's not an environment where there are variables that you can't control. So we feel really good about, offering a safer environment than the CDC recommends, and for families to feel good about having their child be with us and continue their growth and development, in a safe environment until things get better at school. So that's kind of, where we are now. We also do telehealth, which I didn't mention, right? So we continue to do that, and that's something that, will probably continue. So telehealth is a service that we are able to provide, and a lot of centers are doing that. If they prefer not to have contact or direct therapy, we can do it via telehealth as well.
That's wonderful. And, obviously you guys are in Stamford, Connecticut, but there are many people that watch the show that are actually all over the world. They're either in the United States, outside of the United States. Are there different, words of advice that you would give them if they're searching for a center in their areas, things to look for, or traveling, that that journey, or organizations that are nationwide, that are great organizations that really can be helpful tools?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first off, we do have resources on our website, seedautismcenter.com. There's a resource page there, with obviously resources in Connecticut, but also national resources. So, certainly families can check, and your listeners can check that out. We also do a blog, and we highlight relevant topics there for all your viewers and listeners to look at as well. In terms of we also do consulting, so that's something that via telehealth that could pretty much be global as well. If anyone needed services or support, or if it's a school district and there's training that needs to be done, we're pretty open right now to provide services however and whenever they are needed. So yeah, even though we are in Connecticut, there's certainly a lot that we could do for your listeners that are elsewhere.
Well, and the consulting is a great thing for just helping people navigate a little bit through the journey. So even if they're not in the area, what are great resources to go to next? What are steps? What are, things to look for in a center in your area? And, what I find is that as I meet more families and myself, having an adult son with unique abilities, is that so many of us as parents even pivot as time goes on and move to, different states and relocate and whatnot as our children age, to find those adaptable resources. So sometimes that gets put on the table as well to consider when you're looking into the future along that journey.
Yeah. And I think just to point out one thing, we are BHCOE, which is Behavioral Health Center of Excellence accredited. We're one of the few, only 3 in Connecticut. And that's definitely something you would want to look out for, looking for centers that are accredited by the BHCOE. There's a lot of them. If you go on the website, even though there's only a few out here, Connecticut's not that large of a state, but we really, families really want to look for a center that is BHCOE accredited. And really what that means is that the owner, like myself, I'm the president, we're not looking to necessarily expand and open up 50 centers and, extract every profit. And that's it. You're looking for a president who's hands-on, like myself. I'm in the office today. And certainly that reinvests, that gives back, and looks to develop staff and looks to develop career opportunities for them. And we're really proud of that because it's very difficult to do. It's not easy. They do have very high standards. Again, if it was my child or relative, that would be definitely the first thing I would look for, is a center that is BHCOE accredited.
And do they have a website that you can go to look at what centers are accredited?
BHCOE does have a website. I don't want to say the wrong one, but if you Google it, it'll be right there.
Yeah, well, we can, after we're off the show, underneath our Facebook page in those comments and stuff, we can drop some active links and stuff like that, just to make it easier for the folks to hop on over and check those kinds of things out. And I just thank you so much for coming on today and, giving us this information, providing a resource out in Connecticut that is absolutely so needed. What is the best way for folks, if they're listening to this and they want to get a hold of you guys? What's the best way to get a hold of the Seed Center?
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly, you can email us. We have an email, info@seedautismcenter.com. The website, I mentioned it earlier, it's seed, SEED, autismcenter.com. So those are 2 ways. Our phone number, 203-674-8200. We also have social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. We just literally last week launched Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, check us out. And, we have some great content there. So again, regardless of where you're listening from, there's going to be some wonderful content that I think you'll find meaningful and valuable. So that's some ways to check us out. And, we look forward to hearing from anyone who needs help.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Evan. Thank you so much for being a part of our resource series this year. I'm happy to have the Seed Center, and we will drop all of those links below on all of our social media links. If you think of any other articles or things that would be great for folks to check out, feel free to do the same. You can drop those right below our interview here on those social media links. But I just wanted to thank you for being here with us on this Tuesday afternoon. And
My pleasure.
And thank you all for watching the On Air Advocate today. If you guys want to know more about the On Air Advocate, you can head on over to onairadvocate.com, and all of our resources are right there. If you are viewing this on Facebook and you'd like to become part of our private community, head up to the top of this Facebook page, hit the blue button, and that will let you into our private group. So with that, wishing you guys all a fabulous rest of your day. And thanks so much, Evan.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
Have
right.
a great day. Take care, everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.